The scene's shit.
They're fucking playing what they're playing. That's the fucking big
Exactly.
They're out there playing what they're playing.
We spend
putting their heart out and they fucking delivering what they can deliver. Yeah. And that's it. You should appreciate
We
it.
spend 90% of our time on stage just fucking babbling and pissing people off. The biggest fucking problem is a bunch of fucking losers that walk around here. That's the punk rock. I'm not even fucking punk rock. I love punk rock. You know what I love? I love music, man. I love No Effects. I love fucking poser fucking cocksuck bands.
Nowadays.
But everybody's such a fucking crazy. They're like, whoa.
Depending on which venue you're talking about, there's great venues and there's bad venues, obviously, like any city would have. The staples that are great most of the time for me would be the Bovine for sure. I played the Horseshoe a few times. That's a great place to play.
I like a lot of them. I mean, especially this one here, Coalition, is pretty sweet. It's only about 2 years old, and like all the owners really care a lot about the scene. They do what they can to make sure shows are fairly cheap to get into, go to, and I mean, other spots like Bovine, I mean, it's been an institution forever, and I mean, I love playing there. Everyone who works there is like really pretty good people and good times. And
the Bovine is awesome. That's like a staple of the Toronto punk scene. And the cathedral used to be down in the corner with Ian, Derek, and I all played in separate bands about a decade ago, and that was our little watering hole because we were all underage. And if you wanted to play the Bovine, well, you had to stand outside until your set, play your set, and then, you know, get kicked the fuck back out. Back alley.
Like, even venues that aren't particularly like necessarily considered like punk bars, like we did our EP release at the Piston, and that place is like not like it's not necessarily like, I think the owner was saying, "Yo, it was our first mosh pit. Thank you so much." Like, good vibes.
Like, shitty bars are good sometimes, but there's this coffee shop and community space called D Bistro that we played, which is super rad.
It's also an all ages venue.
And it's an all ages venue, which does not exist in Toronto very much, so that place is super awesome.
Like the Limehouse, he has like a DIY venue that we've played a couple times.
Yeah,
we like shot our music video for Fuck This there, and
over the years, I think honestly Bovine is the only venue that I can think that is still in the city, like from the Combo closing down, Silver Dollar to Rancho Relaxo, 460. Like, we've had easily 20 or 30 venues over the last 10 years, and she's the only one that's still standing.
I think the venues that are left are good.
Yeah.
The venues that keep closing are sad.
It's an ever-changing situation because different venues show up and different venues leave, and different bands show up and they leave at the same time because no one ever does this about money. It's just about having fun, and then once you have to go on with other things in your life, you just go.
The Bovine's been, as Chris says, like consistent. It's like the staple. Once every Tuesday, there's a punk show. It's free.
Yeah, it's just sad because like I really like the Toronto punk scene. I want it to like grow and everything. I want people to be a community, but it's like a lot of them are like segregated into like what kind of band you're in or like what genre you may or may not fall into. But other than that, like the venues that are there, like Coalition is like one of the best ones there because it's the best sound. It's everything.
Yeah. Good atmosphere. Doing the Tuesdays, free punk shows, and it's a good time.
Well, like in general, I would say that we have a relatively decent community between all of the punk bands who do know each other in the GTA. If you play in one band, you know at least 2 or 3 guys from another band, and the collaboration also comes onto records. Like, I'm on the Filthy Rads album that they just released like 6 months ago, and like that just is a staple of it. But you don't want to get like hooked into just being with your high school friends, right? Because then you don't really know the outside world, and you can't fucking go, oh yeah, well I played with these guys and I met them through playing through that. So you always want to expand the community, right? And as I said, meet new friends.
A lot of work, despite what you might see on stage. You gotta pay homage to a lot of the bands that are in this scene, because it's not always easy to get out there and put your music out there, but it's fun to be in a punk band in Toronto, and it's a good scene. People support each other and try to do what you can, but it's a lot of hard work, and you gotta respect the bands that get up on stage and do their thing, because you know they put a lot of time and effort into their product before putting it out there for you.
I think it's small, and so we all know each other, and if it's gonna survive at all, we have to work together. We have to help each other out.
Like how we started,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was like you and I, we met playing in Churchgoer, and like after 2 jams, he was like, hey man, like we're like, I got something going on, but like we need like a drummer, like do you want to try it? Like, sure, like give it a go. So I mean, and that's not really like it's as much a collaboration and shit, but I mean it's just sort of, I guess, just moving from one thing.
Yeah, we more or less met each other by playing in different bands and coming together at the end of the day to form one thing.
Like we like hanging, or like we like playing with them.
And
like
Sabotage.
Minetta, Sabotage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the general vibe of us too is like we play kick-ass shows, like really fucking kick-ass bands. We do what we can, and we have fun doing it. Like, it's never not fun. It's never not fun.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We make it.
No collabs, but definitely like working with a lot of the same bands, like even Caustic Lime. Like
There's a show downstairs that's our friends are playing, and they came up and watched us, and we're gonna go over later and check them out too. So it's you have to work together, or it's small. It's a small
like tonight. It's an interesting situation where we don't actually know the other bands. Usually, like when we're playing a show, we know at least one of the other bands. And tonight's like one of those interesting situations. But that's how you meet friends too, and like hopefully, like like in the future, like these guys will remember us, and then maybe we'll do something together. And like there is a sense of like there are some bands that stick together, like Filthy Radicals. They're good friends of ours. Like my boys Frenemy. They're from Brampton. They've just played a show with my other band here 9 days ago. From the start of Big Brother, like we record our own instrumentals and our own vocals. And then it's not that I can't mix it, but we have a friend of ours who's very good. And so we send him everything out to Montreal. He's fucking phenomenal. And he just makes it, he makes the band in a way, like the music, like it's a particular sound, you know what I mean? That yes, we have the initial sound, but he takes it to that next level.
Our
first EP, like I do audio, like engineering and tech work, so like I got us a good studio in Hamilton at Catherine North, where like we got a really good deal, and then I just mixed and mastered it myself. Like I did some free work for him in the studio, just soldering and shit, so that we could, like, we got a good price.
Yeah, we have a friend of mine from high school in the studio in London, and we're going down every couple weeks since January. We've been going down like a weekend a month, and maybe a couple of days on top of that to go to get that record done. It's small, yeah. It's small, but he knows what he's doing. Like he's been trained to do it. He's not just a guy who picked up a board and started to play around. So he's done recording other places. He was in Los Angeles for a while, and now he's just come back home. So he's just trying to sort of, get some momentum here. It's pretty good. He's got a detached garage that he's turned into a studio. So there's a booth, and it's everything you'd expect in a studio.
It's super small.
It's super small, but it's like right on at his place.
They have like awesome old vintage. Like we just recorded in the studio yesterday. Our new EP. Dining room. It's just that place is awesome.
It's a lot more along the lines of like DIY. It's like a converted apartment that they've turned into a studio.
Like we ran our like overheads through tape too, so it's like and like it's a cool space because it's just literally like a small room and it gets really hot and they have like the amps like racked in like on shelves in the bathroom, so it's pretty funny.
They built a cubby in over the tub, so it's just like 3 shelving units. So they have the amps in there.
But it's really good separation, and like I would suggest it to a lot of people for sure. They want more people to go there, and it's super cheap. And guy Steven, who was our engineer, was like super hands-on and just like he knew exactly what we wanted. So it was really cool.
There was at the time we were going to this one guy's jam space who was it's just sort of a smaller. It's usually like a weekly type thing. The way he would rent out his rooms, they weren't your hourly, but he would occasionally do hourly stuff. And we had booked it for a weekend, and it was at the time before Sean was in the band. Our bass player at the time, her boyfriend, who's in Big Brother, and a few other bands, and his buddy, another 2 Chris's. So we had 4 Chris's all in one room. So that's enough right there. But yeah, it was like, and it's like the room was there's nothing as far as like insulation, so it had a little bit of a bounce in it when we're playing. But it's like a recorder, okay? It's just a digital 16 or track. Maybe it's even an 8 track, like the type of thing like your uncle had mid '80s and was like the shit for. But it was kind of cool because we hadn't done anything, and it turned out half decent, but it wasn't fully what we thought. I think
we did the DIY demo, paid a box of beer for it, and it was a lot of fun. You know, doing DIY recording is not an easy task to take on. Obviously,
I do think there is something to be said for like getting your buds to do it and like recording it in a space. And like, I'm not saying that like professional engineers and professional producers don't know what they're doing, because they obviously do, but I do think there's something to be said for like being a punk rock band and recording in a way that is like not overproduced, I guess. And so like I think like obviously if your producer is making out with their partner, that's probably not going to turn out well, but like I do think there is something to be said for recording a punk rock record in a basement and it being good. Yeah, because I think a lot of punk rock records have been recorded in basements and they've been fucking great.
I agree.
There was like a little bit of diversity. You didn't see a lot of people of any ethnicity except for, well, white people at the punk shows, which was really sad, to be honest, because you know
the younger crowd for sure. I've noticed like if you go to like Faith Boyd or something, it's like super trans friendly. It's like super queer friendly.
Same with DeBeatstro
as well. Yeah, they're like all ages drive venues, and it's super like such good vibes, really inclusive.
It's like it's fostering like a really good young punk community that's like really diverse and very like
it's inspiring for sure. Yeah, to see that sort of thing is still alive and watch as like
super.
Yeah, this is like the younger generation for sure is like super like on top of it. You know, it's really cool.
Pseudo's a band where there's no like I'll say just plain out. There's no Caucasians in Pseudo. You know what I mean? But they still receive like when Toronto's good for it. Like Toronto's very open and very liberal and I say liberal not as the liberals, but liberal as open. Like Toronto's a very open city with very little prejudice. But those kind of bands, they kind of when they leave the city, that's when you get those kind of like.
From a minority standpoint, there still is a very large minority in the scene.
Yes.
It's a very not divided. Just it's We'd love to see more Latinos in it. We'd love to see more, African Canadians in it. We'd love to see more Asian Canadians in it. Just, just to help diversify a little more. Indigenous people would be fucking great to have more.
But we've actually managed to make things happen too. Shows
exactly,
that
we just played our shows and stuff, and somehow,
and
people
fundraisers
enjoy what
when
we do.
people
Exactly.
actually joined us.
People come up and they're like, it's great that you're doing that, and it's great to see, hopefully, potentially more other minority groups be built into the scene as well.
If we're gonna talk about diversity in punk rock, like I do, yeah, for sure. Like I mean, I think in Oshawa, like Tim said, like the bands don't all sound the same. But I would say, for the most part, and this is unfortunate, and this exists in Toronto as well. Like the bands all look the same. The bands are all dudes.
Yeah, true.
The bands are all dudes playing guitars with amplifiers. Like that is punk rock, and that is slightly unfortunate. And like I do think like part of punk rock is like expanding outside of that. And I do think that it does exist in Oshawa, like Lucian's Chain Gang, for example, who don't exist anymore.
Done, yeah.
But like they were attempting to not do that, and like there are bands who try to do that in Toronto as well and in Oshawa. But yeah, like obviously bands sound different, but I do think there's something to be said for like if we're talking about diversity, like it is unfortunate that punk rock is populated mostly by straight white dudes.
Yep.
We want to be inclusive and as inviting as possible because we want people to stick around and we want people to support the scene, and the more people and the more inviting, the more friendly we can be, the better it is for everybody. So we want to have a friendly scene that everyone's involved in, and that's why we're here. Make friends.